who goes to parties. I'm quite introverted, especially when it comes to going to nightclubs. I feel like that's not a comfortable space for me to be in. But this time, I decided to go to my friend's birthday party because it was about time I made up for the number of times I missed her birthday. I arrived at the exact time she sent the invitation, 7:30 p.m., but nobody was there. I called her, and she told me she would be there 30 minutes later, 8 p.m., so I decided to wait. I walked around to kill time. When it reached 8 p.m., I received a phone call from her. She apologized and told me she would make up for arriving so late. She told me to wait inside. There was a big tablet reserved for her birthday, but I was the only one there. Stepped inside and waited. I was told to wait on a separate seat because the rest of the group hadn't arrived. 10 minutes went by, then 20, then 30, and I had begun to feel anxious. I felt as if people were staring at me. I felt sad and a little angry. 40 minutes passed. I simply picked up my things and left. 10 minutes later, I received a message from her asking me not to leave. It was already late. I had already gotten on public transportation to my house. I replied to her, letting her know how I felt, and didn't reply anymore. I informed my sister about what had happened. She bought food and wanted to watch a movie, but I eventually lost my appetite and just went to sleep. I woke up just a few minutes ago and I started to write this. Do you think I did the right thing? Or should I have waited more time? Update: I've read every comment I've seen thus far. Thank you so much for reading and sharing your opinions on this post. I genuinely appreciate it. To clarify some of the details, the nightclub is also a bar, and there's a separate space where they serve food. The reservation was under her name, which is how I had access to the place. There was a staff member in charge of receiving guests, but as I mentioned earlier, no one else arrived during the entire time I was there. Before I left, he asked me if I was leaving. I told him that I needed to go. He insisted that I stay and try calling them again, but I didn't. I simply left. I have known her for at least 7 years, but I don't know the rest of her friends. She has been a very nice person. It was a frustrating experience, but I wasn't entirely mad at her. I just felt sad and disappointed. As I mentioned, 10 minutes later, she sent a message saying, "Don't leave." Then, 3 minutes later, she said, "It's okay, I understand, heart." 5 minutes later, I replied, expressing my discomfort and wishing her a good birthday. She then replied, "And I'm sorry." There haven't been any other messages beyond that. I don't go out to social events very often, so I'm not familiar with this unwritten rule some of you have mentioned. I am quite picky when it comes to meeting new people and making new friends. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to read this post. I truly appreciate all the comments and those who supported my decision.